What's going on, y'all? Amazing conversation we're having today, where we are first and foremost going to be congratulating those that have joined the Tech Career Accelerator and Bootcamp, but also highlighting for those that have recently joined, as well as the rest of y'all that have been asking us about these interviews that we're having within these internal interviews, internal referrals that we have with different partners across various tech companies. What's the update with that? What's the deal with that? So a lot of y'all been asking in the DMs, in the comments, and so initially we were going to do this private for the students and people that are in the program and people that have actually paid for this and invested in this. But then we decided to go live and tell everyone else about it as well, because big tech is hiring, as I've been talking about before. And we're going to give some tips and some gems as to how y'all be able to take advantage of the opportunity. But again, we're mainly going to be focusing on the students. I'm trying to find
big tech is hiring.
I don't see the request on Instagram.
We're going to give some tips
on the stream on Instagram. So before we get started, and while I'm waiting for Horus to join on Instagram, let us know in the chat. Let us know what it is you either let us know what it is you either currently do in tech or what you want to do in the tech industry. And also, let's go a step further. List what is your dream tech company that you want to work at. So for those that missed the post that I put up earlier, so we have collaborations with partners of different recruiters, hiring managers, and different leaders at major tech companies. And we're talking the
Googles, the Microsofts, the AWS, and the Salesforce,
a variety of others. So let us know in the chat what it is you actually want to do in tech and what is your dream company. All right, so Horus just joined in on Instagram. So super cool. All right, so look, y'all, this is going to be really incredible. So y'all know for the past several years, I've talked about tech boot camps. We've had y'all seen testimony after testimony. And Horus is going to talk about it. We're going to have a conversation about it. We launched something that initially was just for the students that are in the Scale and Tech program. But then as we talked about it further, we thought through how we could offer this to more people. So first off, the actual purpose of this stream is to explain what it is to those of you who've already signed up and joined, explain that to you. But also, since we are now able to open this up to more people, those that qualify, we also decided, you know what, we're going to make this a public stream so that way y'all can find out about the opportunity as well, because we have a limited window to be able to help a certain group of people. And so we decided we want to try to hurry up and help y'all out. So we're going to get to y'all's questions. Make sure y'all have y'all's questions ready. Make sure you put in the chat what you want to do in tech and what's your dream company, your dream big tech company. So aside from that, first off, we want to start off congratulating those that have joined. So if you're rewatching this later, if you're watching this within the actual accelerator training, of course, the purpose of this is to fully educate you to make sure you're fully prepped as to all of the updates that have been made within the Tech Career Accelerator. We'll update this every time we get like a new batch of partners or companies as we're able to get more. But first and foremost, congratulations to you all. Secondly, I'm going to give the current list of tech companies. And then we're going to let Horus speak and talk about like how we developed this, like how it came about and how we're able to actually do this for people. So just to give the list of companies so everybody is fully aware. So the list of companies are Microsoft. And I want to be clear, this is a list of companies that we have our connections with for internal referrals, as well as, again, off the clock, nothing to do with their company. Off the clock, them kind of giving a little bit of guidance to make sure that people are fully prepped up and qualified for those roles. So that way they are successful during the interview process. And that way the company can get rewarded with a top tier candidate, somebody who's qualified. But on the back end, as it relates to you all, you get the opportunity to work in big tech, because working in the tech industry in general is a blessing. But we talk about these top tier companies, it's like life-changing, truly life-changing. So again, so the list of companies currently: Microsoft, Google, AWS, SAP, IBM, Oracle, ServiceNow, Salesforce, Adobe, and Workday. So those are 10 companies that, again, recruiters, hiring managers, and or different leaders that are at those companies that are collaborating with us to help our community, those that qualify, to be able to get those internal referrals to land roles at these companies, to really, truly be able to help y'all. So again, congratulations to those of y'all that have already joined in. I'm gonna do a quick shout out. I'm gonna name a few of y'all that recently joined this week. And some of you are actually going to get your interviews starting this month based on when you came in and based on also what you chose. So first off, shouts out to Andrea Henderson. Also Virgil Price. Also shouts out to Timothy James. Who else we got? Tamika. Shouts out to Tamika. All right. Shouts out to Sade. And those are actually the list of people. Okay. And we got about 7 other people that joined this week. So shouts out to the rest of y'all. Again, we only got a limited amount of time, but shouts out to y'all. Those are the most recent people that joined. So I just wanted to shout y'all out first. So again, y'all, to make sure everybody, especially those of y'all that are rewatching this video later, make sure that you are paying attention, because this is going to help set you up for success. So that way you can break into not just the tech industry, but into big tech as fast as possible. So not only are we going to explain what this is, we're going to explain what you can expect step by step. So that way you can get into the industry as quickly as possible. For the rest of y'all that are watching this, that are tuning in the chat, make sure y'all are posting your questions. We're going to get to y'all's questions at the very end. For those of y'all that, whether you've done a boot camp or went to college, or if you don't have any experience, we'll talk about how you also can get these opportunities. The time frame will be different depending on where you're at, but we'll kind of talk through that. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Horus. So Horus, first off, thank you for this. But secondly, can you explain to everyone just what led to us being able to do this, like the why behind it and how it happened?
Yeah, you got layers to that question. So first thing I think is that because we were doing, our own boot camp situation, I think, I was all in. I think we've talked to, ad nauseum about why I decided to join that and, be a part of it as long as I could build the course. But then, over time, I was telling you, I was like, man, look, if we're doing this, like, where's the payoff, right? Like, where's the solution at the end, right? And, where that came from was because for me, I thought about when I went to school, right? And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again for those, watching. For me, it was about, all right, I could pick between a couple schools, right? I was limited to Atlanta because I didn't want to leave my daughter. So I was like, all right, Georgia Tech, Emory, those are the best programs. And then so when it really came down to like that gut feeling, it was because there was a guy in career services who was actually the one that swayed the decision for me, right? Happened to end up being a brother, so that worked out even more for me. But he was the one that told me, look, they got jobs out there, $90,000, $100,000 base, plus commission, plus stock. He was telling me stuff I had never heard of before, right? And like you said at the beginning of this, bro, I don't think people understand the life-changing, capabilities that exist out here, right? Like me and you talked yesterday, and I put some videos up today, and I saw some of the comments where people were looking at it, where you search 0 to 2 years of experience at like an Oracle, and they got jobs making up to $180,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
0 to 2 years experience. So for me, this came from like, it's basically, we are going to be like the career services. I was like, how do I emulate that? How do I streamline the career fair process? And that's, I think, how we came up with this, right? And so, I think people get this thought of, oh, I'll just go watch a couple free videos and I'm gonna go make 200K. Like, that's how it works, right? And I'm like, no, like in some cases, is that possible? Absolutely. But as far as like how it works for most people, no, right? And so I think, and if you want that, just like, hey, I'm gonna watch some free videos and I'm gonna go make 200K. Like I say, turn this one off right now. Like this is not the video for you because this is gonna include some work. So I'm just letting everybody know right now.
Yeah.
But it's gonna include some work. It's gonna include some investment. But I tell people like my parallel, what we offering here, I paid $64,000. I paid 10 years of time, right? I had to build out relationship, build out network over time to be able to kind of streamline this. You go to a career fair, you're gonna spend $2,000 to $3,000 to travel cross country, go to a place. You're gonna stand in line for hours. You're gonna be competing against thousands, like tens of thousands of people. Like career fairs have anywhere from 10 to 12,000 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna hold your resume, try and pass it out, try and meet somebody in 35 seconds, try and make an impression on them and hope for an interview and hope that you'll get a follow-up. I used to work those, bro. Like I'm telling you, it's not that, it's just like kind of with your own time in life. It's not that people don't want to help you. It's not that people don't want to connect with you. They just can't meet the 1,200 people or the, 70, 80, 200, 300 people that they stood in, that were standing in the line to meet. They can't do that efficiently, bro. Like it's just not possible. So when we came up with this, I was like, look, man, if we're going to put people through the boot camp, right? Like I'm give them this game, I'm gonna give them this education, but I also want them to get that payoff, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's why people, from the other boot camps been hitting you up about this so tough. Like I know we just kind of talking about it now, but people been hitting you up so tough about it. And I'm like, bro, we're gonna have to cap the number of this, right? Like we got to cap this per year. This can't just go on forever. Like the network is only so big, right? There's only so much time in a day, but this is literally the fast track to skipping through a career fair. Like it's basically, if you went to a career fair, spent $3K and got the best possible experience, that's what we put together. You know what I'm saying? You listed 10 companies. I was talking to one of the people today in the network, and she's a realtor, because I told her, I'm like, we're doing this for career transition people, right? This is not for somebody who's like, I don't know nothing about nothing. I ain't got no money and I don't want to invest. It's not for you, right? That's why I say turn the video off. This is for people who, if we talk about, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. I was going to say, that's a sidebar. I'll bring that up later.
Yeah. But it's like, this is for people who, we had these conversations where they want to do a career transition. I'm a teacher and I want to do this. I'm a nurse and I want to get into tech. Right? This is for those people who are ready to get literally, you got all these, the resume, the review, the interview prep, all the features that you have in the program already. And then basically I just came and layered on. I was like, all right, they get to talk to me because I'm not going to introduce them to my network without giving the screening. Then I got the recruiters. I got Microsoft recruiters, Oracle. I got recruiters from different companies. And then you get to pick 2 people that fall into those 10 companies right now. You know what I'm saying? And you can go interview style or you can go networking style, right? And that's it, bro. Like we streamline it directly. And again, I've never seen anything like this. We talked about the stuff in the back end, and when you tell people in the boot camps that you got the connections with at the top of those, and they're like, yeah, man, we're going to talk about that immediately. You know what I'm saying?
So I want to make sure, because I did a bad job. I want to make sure that I'm properly introducing Horus, because again, because 2 things is going on. One, this is a recording that we're making to congratulate those that have already joined in, and also to make sure those that are joining in the future will be able to watch this, so that way you get level set. But 2, we're streaming publicly. So there's also going to be a lot of y'all that, some of y'all are actually in the Scale and Tech program. A lot of y'all are not. So we also are going to address y'all as well. But I want to make sure that those of y'all, especially those of y'all that are actually in the program that are watching this later, maybe you didn't join the tech sales side of the program. Maybe you joined through QA, or maybe you just joined just for the Scale and Tech. You joined just specifically for the Tech Career Accelerator portion, to be able to get expedited to land a role in tech through these referrals and interviews within these companies. That being said, I wanted to make sure all of y'all understand who Horus is, the level that he's speaking from. So he is currently a enterprise director of sales. He's been in big tech for, I think, about 10 years. He's worked at several large companies. Currently, y'all can see it on his LinkedIn. Currently, he's at Microsoft. He's been at Microsoft, I think, a couple times. He's also worked at Accenture. Tableau, excuse me, Tableau. Somebody put Accenture in the comments that threw me off. Tableau. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, you worked at Salesforce too, right?
Yeah, well, Tableau is Salesforce. Yeah. So
Okay,
Tableau's
cool.
like Tableau bought Salesforce, the same thing. But even before that, though, Verizon, T-Mobile, Chase when it became Chase. So yeah, years of sales.
Yeah, so big dog. So look, so I know a lot of y'all. So it's a lot of y'all in here that are super fans of Horus. There's some of y'all here that don't know who he is. So I wanted to level set because as much as I've been able to do in this industry, Horus is much deeper in his bag when it comes to high level relationships. I have a lot of relationships with recruiters, hiring managers, other people, but that's mainly because of the social media stuff. One of the good things that you all have a benefit of with Horus is the fact that he has been such a high level individual in the industry, has an incredible network, incredible wealth of knowledge. Again, he himself has been a hiring manager several times. He currently runs a team. So he's currently still working in big tech, currently runs a team of different tech sales individuals. So literally a wealth of knowledge. And I know what's crazy, before we had talked about launching this, I had thought about doing something like this within the boot camp. Because let me know, I'm going to talk to y'all in the chat real quick. Those of y'all in the chat, and those of y'all that are rewatching this later, you can even just kind of think about this. Think about the answer. When you think about doing a tech boot camp, why do you want to do it? It's like, and I mean, it's kind of the assumption is that you actually want to get a career. Like a lot of people go to college. Weirdly enough, people will pay $80,000, $100,000 to go to college. And it's not even really to get a career. It's just because we're brainwashed to think, oh, you just have to go to college. Versus when we do, look, I'm going to tell you the straight truth. When we do boot camps, we do a program to get in tech, we're not doing it just for the certification or just to say I did it, I made my mama proud. No, we're doing it to get careers. And so even though y'all know I've collaborated with several boot camps that are quality, that thousands of people have gotten jobs through them, nevertheless, we were doing this. My biggest goal was, man, I feel an immense pressure. Not even pressure. I say we're like an honorable responsibility to make sure people are actually getting jobs. Now, of course, it's up to people. They have to do their part. Nevertheless, I was like, yo, I'm not doing this just for cutesy sakes. I'm doing this to truly help people. And I was thinking initially before Horus, before we started talking about it, initially I was thinking about doing something like this. I was like, man, like I have a large network of recruiters. I helped a lot of people get jobs just through connecting them with my network, just through some coaching and trainings. And I was like, man, what if we just do this? But when Horus actually brought it up and we talked about it, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, I was like, yo, let's definitely do this. But it has blown my mind, not just how rapidly we've been able to, get connections with our friends and our colleagues in the industry, but two, this package that y'all have access to now. And again, I'm speaking to those of y'all that have already signed up, that have already joined. And again, for the rest of y'all that qualify, we have a qualification thing on the website. Just real quick, for those of y'all on LinkedIn and YouTube, and you're like, okay, let me see if I qualify, whatever, just click the link down the description. And you can go to qualify. For those of y'all on Instagram, you just need to comment big tech. And again, there's two different options where if you already have education, already have skills, already have either a tech degree or have done a quality tech boot camp, if that is the case, then you will just get access. And again, it's case by case. The team has to actually sift through it. But in many cases, you should be able to get access to the Tech Career Accelerator. Aside from that, if you're somebody kind of coming from scratch, then you would more than likely need the actual boot camp. And just being real, ones that we recommend have a strong preference because we know the quality of those boot camps. And we know we've seen the success from those programs. That being said, that's a whole sidebar. So this opportunity is so incredible because y'all know when I did a boot camp to get in tech, I didn't even have an influencer talking about getting in tech to motivate me. I didn't have assistance when it came to networking, when it came to my LinkedIn, when it came to none of those pieces. But this other thing to actually be able to have recruiters, hiring managers, and leaders within these tech companies offering referrals and coaching to make sure you're fully prepped up for these opportunities within their companies is just really major. So I was incredibly blown away, not just at the fact that the response from the recruiters that are willing to do this for y'all, but two, and again, I say y'all, those that qualify, because we're not sending rinky-dink people to we're not sending rinky-dink people to Google, and no, it's like those that qualify. We want to be very clear because the goal is success. But not only was I surprised at like the response from the people who were collaborating with us on this, but two, the way it's built out, just to where literally y'all have 2 companies you're able to choose that you want to work at. And then we're going to talk through this a little bit more later on, but basically 2 companies you're able to choose. So let's say it's a Salesforce and I want to say Tableau, but I know we just said Tableau because you were at Tableau / Salesforce. Let's just say Google. We're able to choose 2 companies and get assistance from people that are working within those companies. With that being said, so I was super hyped when we were able to actually finalize and organize this. So we're going to go ahead and walk through. First, I guess we'll continue on with how Horus has been able to scale and where he's at now. And then we'll transition over to talk about, just explain more about the breakdown as to what the steps are and what you're going to get access to. But Horus, I cut you off earlier. So I know you've invested, and we talked about this before, you've invested well over $60,000 to be able to, education and networking wise, to get to where you're at. How has that benefited you? And also, how has it allowed you to be a benefit to others?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So, obviously the 60,000, for those who don't know the backstory, that's what it cost. It was a little over 60K to, go get my MBA from Georgia Tech. Because same thing like Cyrus, like before I got into tech, and mine was way more expensive, bro. Like, so I wish I would have met you before. But before, having that exposure, like literally, I didn't know anything, dog. Like I went there, I went to school to like really change my life, just like probably most people here are trying to do. My goal when I went, and it's crazy when you kind of think about it, it's like, I was paying over 60K and my goal was only for like $100,000. That was my goal. And I'll tell you the story of how crazy, like when you set your mind on something, how it happens. So like, I was like, all right, well, let me, go ahead and try this. Like, what else can I do at this point? Right. So they offered 2-year program, 3-year program. I was like, I'm getting through this in 2 because I need to get to this money. Right. Which I thought this $100,000 number was something great. And so when you talk about networking, right, like I said, career services is what, got me over the hump, like made me go the direction of Georgia Tech versus like Emory, for example. And so, the guy would talk to me, we would work on a resume. I actually met my career services person. I would meet him in his office before I even started classes. And then, every time I go to class, I was going to class Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night from like 5:30 to 9. So again, people don't see that part of the sacrifice, right? They just see the ends, right? But, as far as the networking part, he had people for me to meet. It was the alumni network at the school. So that kind of helped me. And that's what ended up being the thing that introduced me like the way that we want to be introduced. He told me to meet this guy. He's like, you got to meet this guy. You got to meet this guy. And he's like, you got to go to this thing called National Black MBA Career Fair. And I was like, I ain't never heard of that. I don't know what you're talking about. So I was actually really resistant because it was just something I was so unfamiliar with. So you go to that thing, and I'm from Chicago originally, so we would go to the auto show, and that's what it was like. And they used to have the auto show here in Atlanta, they maybe still do, but it's like you go into the World Congress Center and big auditorium, and there's just companies everywhere, right? And they have like all these representatives for their company, current employees, recruiters, all that. And they're all standing in their booths, and they're, telling you about the jobs, or telling you about what jobs they have available, the careers at their company, all this stuff. So to your point, that was my first like real introduction to networking, because you had to be like on it, right? Like have your pitch together. I'm Horus Mackey. I do this. I've done this. I know this. I go to, and then Have your resume ready, right? Like all of this stuff. You got to be dressed up, all that deal, right? So did that. And, you know, he's telling me the whole time, this is fast forward like 1 year in. And he's telling me, hey, you got to meet this guy. You got to meet this guy. And I'm like, take it easy, man. Like I'll, you know, I'll get to it. And I was kind of like, you know, because, you know, I'm trying to be cool. I'll be honest. I was just trying to be cool. Like, hey, man, I'm fresh with this dude. So then came across the guy. First guy I met at Microsoft was a guy named Michael Jackson. I just saw him. He went to Google and retired. Congrats. Shout out Michael Jackson. So he was the first guy I met because it was just like, your name's Michael Jackson, but he spells it different. And then, you know, so I was looking for the other guy that I was, you know, trying to talk to. And just for the record, I think Michael Jackson, maybe he's 60, but he's already retired. But yeah, like, so I find the guy I was looking for. We got to talk for like 2-3 minutes. He's like, yeah, man, come to the, you know, event at the restaurant. It was at Poor Calvin's. I'll never forget. So go to Poor Calvin's that night. Microsoft bought out the whole restaurant. And, you know, that in itself blew my mind, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's how far away, like the game that everybody who's watching and everything that they know now, that's right, Chicago, everything that they know now about technology because of what you've done through your platform. I didn't know any of this, dog, like nothing. So go meet the guy. I try and meet him at the restaurant. And the best analogy I can give is like when you would see those pictures back in the day from Michael Jordan, and he'd be in a corner and all the reporters had him like stuck in the corner. That's what it reminded me of. And so he's in the corner answering questions. I'm like, I can't get the dude. So then again, because, you know, I think we've lost the concept of grind and hustle. We think, oh, I'm gonna watch some free videos and get a $300,000 job. But so what I did, I was like, I saw him leave. So I went outside. Hey, man, didn't get a chance to talk to you. I see him waiting. And this is 10 years ago. So Uber wasn't like super popular 10 years ago. It was out there. Now, he worked in San Francisco, so he was way more familiar with it. So he's standing there. He's like, yeah, I'm waiting for a car. And I was like, hey, dog, I'll take you back to the hotel. Yeah. So he's like, all right, cool. Right. So I take him back to the hotel. We pull into the Ritz-Carlton, downtown Atlanta. And the other story is that that's where I met my daughter's mother. So it's like I've had 2 life-changing events at that hotel. And so I'm sitting in the driveway with him. He sits in the car with me for like an hour, bro, and just gives me all the game on Microsoft. He's like, $145,000 base, or no, $135,000 base, $45,000 signing bonus, $55,000 in stock. And he's like, your first year, you kind of get a guarantee where, because it's like through a student program. So he was like, you get like 67% of your base. So I'm doing the math. I'm like, so wait, you get like another 100,000 on top? He's like, yeah. So it's like 135 plus 100 plus the stock plus the signing bonus. I'm sitting there like, what? Like, bro, I can't even comprehend this. Yeah. I went to school to make $100,000. And this dude telling me about, he made basically his whole little deal was like $300K. For those of you who don't understand equity and know about the stock play, he started the year before me. When I started, I got 50,000 in stock. Microsoft share price, look it up, in June of 2015, I guarantee you, and I think my first, my price was probably maybe July, $45 a share. I took a beating a day, but it's up over 400 right now, right? So I had over 1,000 shares that were $45 that are now times 10. Now, wow. There's a mean trick with taxes, so you don't get to see it all, but you also get stock every year as you keep going. So I'll let y'all do that math. But my point is, my mind was blown, bro. I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't comprehend it. So after that, I came out of that moment and I was like, oh, I don't care about anything else. I'm going to Microsoft. Like, I had interviews with Delta. I had interviews with, it's not Pfizer, it was one of the drug companies. I had an interview with Chrysler. I had like 2 other ones. I had 6 interviews total. And I was just kind of like, I mean, I'm going to do them to be respectful, but I was like, I only care about one. Right. And so, You know what I mean? Because it was just like, bro, my mind was set at 100, and this dude basically just told me about how he got like 300K. You know what I'm saying? And his yearly was going to be 2 something. You know what I mean, bro? 200,000 plus back then, I couldn't even conceptualize it.
Yeah,
I'll tell the truth. I went to school and had to work. I was making like $45,000 a year, dog. Because I remember when I got my package, it was like 5x what I was currently making. Because I remember telling the school, I was like, I think I won because I was like, nobody else is going to be able to say that they made like the multiple, you know, like from being in school to graduating, like nobody was going to be able to say they made the multiple that I made. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, like I know that went long, but I'm telling you, it was great. Yeah.
No, that's good. So what's incredible is how let me know in the chat because y'all heard he said it a couple times where he was like, "Yo, I was just thinking about making 100,000. What is y'all's? I'm curious from y'all. What is your goal number? And also for those of y'all that are rewatching this later that have joined the program, you know, if you're not watching this live, also think about it like what is your goal number? My goal number was about the same. Like my goal was to get in tech and eventually make about 104. Like I thought, okay, I'm gonna be in the tech industry, and by the time I'm, 50, hopefully I'm at about like $140,000. Like, and that was my dream. Even as I was working towards getting the industry, I said, man, I'll be an older man, and not that 50's old, but I'll be like more seasoned, and man, $150,000, and then because of networking, because of connections, I was able to blow past that within less than a year. I was able to blow well past that within less than a year. And even like my second tech company, I've talked about this before. The second role that I got, it wasn't a company I even had to apply to. It was solely through my network. Because at that point, I started to grow a little bit of a network. And I had connected with someone who they wanted me at their company. They were the hiring manager, and they set me up on the interview. I still had to interview because there's no such thing as like you just getting a job. Like you still have to go through the motions of the application, the interview, all of that stuff. But I applied, I interviewed. I was horrible. Like I literally bombed the interview. I bombed. I'm gonna tell y'all, I bombed the interview so bad. The interviewers, because this was the final round interview. So this is like the interview where it's like everybody's in there. I bombed it so bad. Even they said their response to me was, they were like, "Yeah, Cyrus, that wasn't what we were expecting at all." They're like, "That's not what we were expecting." Guess what? Not only did I still get the job, I got the job with an extra $10,000 above what we negotiated and a $12,000 sign-on bonus. I was supposed to come in at $135,000. They put me at $145,000 plus a $12,000 sign-on bonus, not to mention the stock options and the benefits and everything else. And so that was, as we talk about the value of a tech career accelerator, it was through the network. And the reason why I got the role, again, I failed the interview. The reason why I still got it was because the hiring manager said, I still want him. Like, yeah, I know he bombed it, but I still want him. And in between, and of course, I still have to do. I crushed it the first few rounds of interviews. I want to be clear. I ain't like bomb all the way.
You made it to the last round. So
yeah, I made it to the last round.
Yeah.
So I want to set proper expectations. So for those of y'all that are in the program now, those of y'all that are watching this later, you want to make sure all of the tips and the gems that I give you, that Horus gives you, that the recruiters give you, that the hiring managers give you, the coaches, the training, the modules, the self-paced modules you get, the templates, the resources, you want to make sure you are taking it serious. Like this is your investment. Like you have invested in this. So you need to make sure that you are getting the best bang for your buck, because something like this has not existed before. Like for those of y'all that are in the chat that are in tech, tell me like how valuable it would have been to you if you would have had the opportunity to not just get the education that's nowhere near the price point of a college, but you also get your LinkedIn, your resume, your cover letter, interview training, network, internal referrals at big tech companies, and coaching to land the role. Like, how much would that have meant to you when you were trying to get in the industry? Because again, I didn't even have that. Like, I was blessed to have had at least a boot camp to have the rest of those pieces. But Horace, I know, like, since then, because of my network, I've been able to help so many people get in the industry through the network. And again, those of y'all that are in the Tech Career Accelerator or in the Scale and Tech Bootcamp, y'all are going to benefit from that. But Horace, I know that you've had even more experiences than I've had. So again, you spent all of that money, you did all of that work to get in the industry. At your level now, your enterprise level, how is it different now? You had to do all of that work. Now that you're where you're at, how has your network and connections opened doors for you and opened doors for other people that you've been able to help?
What's crazy is that I still use the same process currently to this day, right? Like, I tell people all the time, you know, and I'm not remiss or shy about it. You don't overcommit to a company, because somebody said something to me one time, which was, companies don't show up to your funeral, they just replace you, right? And that hit me pretty hard, like, because I've actually been in a job, you know, people know where I worked, where like 2 people died in a fiscal year, bro. Like, one guy died in the airport, and you know, it was sad. We actually did go to his funeral, but they're still replacing you, right? And so I still use the process, meaning I'm leveraging people I know, and it gets me, you know, kind of direct. You know, I get the referrals, I get quick responses, right? If you look on my IG right now, I did a couple videos to kind of prepare for this, so that way people could see it before we even did this. So it's not like, oh, you went and manipulate. No. Go look on IG, and I see Ash Muhammad in the comments right now. He knows we've done it live several times. Go look at, I do the Google searches for entry level roles, and I'm talking 120, 109, $180,000 jobs for 0 to 2 years of experience. But also look at, I did my own LinkedIn. So I was doing, you know, like a search on my LinkedIn for how many tech sales jobs were available. And I think, actually, I wrote it down. The number in the video is 13,917. But what I want people to pay attention to in that video, and I actually talk about, is the recommendations I get even from LinkedIn, right? It'll be like, this job, it says I'm a top applicant, $358,000 to $462,000, right? So if I see that's a company where I know somebody there, then obviously I just did this, right? I'm like, hey, let me see if I can get that referral. And oh yeah, no problem. Like, we all do it for each other, right? And so, and to your point of the networking, I do that professionally with all the people that, you know, my network spread, because it's like, people get into a company, you know, I know people that have gone to Google, gone to AWS, gone to all these companies that you listed. Like, literally, I know people everywhere, right? And so, with that being the case, same thing with the school. So that's one thing I will say the school did benefit me, because I actually leveraged that network from the sales job perspective, right? So if I want to go take on an account, you know, that's Atlanta popular, let's call it, right? Then I can say, all right, well, it's a lot of Georgia Tech people there, right? So you can use that network more, right? And you should be doing this here. Like, we should be building a network, right? Where as we get to know each other, as everybody gets hired, now you say, hey, I know Cyrus knows this person who knows this person. And, you know, we should be doing the LinkedIn thing just as hard as we do Instagram and all these other platforms, because that's the one that pays you, right?
Literally.
Like I said, look at, they'll see on the video, bro. Like, you see it in my video, and it's like $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 jobs where it's telling me I'm a top applicant. Now, I pay for the premium version, just to be fair, right? Because, you know, it'll give you better recommendations, right? And so, but that's how it pays off. Like, that's how all of this pays off. And that's the whole point of what we're doing now with the Tech Career Accelerator, is that I'm literally, I've created the line where it's just like, hey, and I'm not saying, but I think I'm a pretty decent person to talk to. So you talk to me, I get you ready for the recruiter, and then I get you ready for 2 industry people. And you don't just, oh, I like Google or I like Microsoft, so I want to go work there. No, that is not the strategy. The strategy is, Ash again can shout this out, I want you to go find the jobs that you want at whichever company is hiring at the time, right? Because this is going to be going, I think we're doing this for a year. So it's going to be going 3 months from now. There's going to be different jobs open at different, entry level, mid level, wherever you are. You go find the job and then you say, all right, Cyrus, all right, Horus, I want to talk to somebody at Oracle because Oracle's hiring for this, where I am entry level paying about 150K. So that's one of the 2 I want to get to. And then you go look up another job, Salesforce or IBM or whomever, right? And then that way we're custom kind of tailoring your experience to give you the most opportunity for success. Because what a lot of people do is just, oh, I love Google. Bro, look up the statistics. Somebody talking about ChatGPT. Look up the statistics of people who externally apply to Google and actually get hired, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy. Yeah. And again, here's some free game too, right? As a hiring manager, I've hired several people. I'll give you the exact process. The people they're looking for first are internal candidates. They get first priority, first shot. They don't even care about the externals. It is internal candidates for first. That's a hiring manager thing. If you want somebody internal, like I've had different thoughts, right? Like sometimes I'm looking external. I want somebody with different state of mind, right? So then right after internal, referrals, because they're referrals by internal employees. Our internal employees think that this person is going to be a good candidate for this role. If you got 400 applications, I think the last one I did, 400 and some applications. I had about 28 internals. I had about 23 referrals. So that's about what, 52, 51? And then now it's 350 plus external applicants that I have to now sift through. I'm just keeping it a buck. Like I'm gonna look, right? The recruiter, we gonna look, but you know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna look at maybe the company you worked for, or if I'm looking for a salesperson, I want somebody who has done sales, right? Like I'm gonna look, but internal employees, and that's why I stress to you all the most, just get into the industry, get into the companies, because then you have a much better chance to, going Spanish real quick, to, elevate yourself. To elevate yourself.
He's bilingual, y'all.
yeah. And some distracting me. So you got a much better chance to elevate yourself in the company, and it just gives you a much better chance. And then, like I said, the referrals are right next to that, and so look, man,
if I could break down, I want to give actual numbers to what you're saying. So let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat, and also for those that are rewatching this later, let me know if you've heard about this report that came out. There was a report that came out a couple of years ago that said to get a job at a Google, at a Microsoft, at any of these big tech companies, and we could list a few others as well, but any of these big tech companies, you have the same odds of making it into the NBA. No, actually, it's easier odds getting into the NBA than getting into one of those companies, because there are significantly more people vying or fighting for those opportunities. Because to get into the tech industry in general is a cherished thing, but it's almost like the difference between playing in the G League versus playing in the actual NBA at the highest levels, being a Steph Curry, a LeBron James, or MJ. But to give the actual statistics, so what Horus is saying, so in general, the odds of getting in the industry just straight up cold is far less than the chances of getting in the NBA. But then we take it to another level. The data shows that even people with an education who are trying to get in big tech, and I mean, this is surface level education. You've got a few certifications, you watch some different videos, some trainings, literally at over a 95% rejection rate. Then we talk about people who've done a boot camp. So now we're talking about, okay, you've done a boot camp alone. And then obviously we're talking about a quality boot camp, because not all boot camps are built the same. You've done a quality boot camp. Now you're at about a 20 to 25% odds of being able to at some point in your career, we're not even talking about out the gate, in some point in your career, getting a role in big tech. When we talk about going to Horus's point, and I'm happy he mentioned this, like how companies, just to highlight what he said again, whenever they're hiring, first they hire from with internal employees. Then they go to internal referrals. So to actually give the numbered statistics. So again, if you're trying to get in big tech, you have less than the chance of someone trying to get into the NBA. If you have actual like boot camp or college, then you have about a 20% chance that at some point, if you try for your entire career to get in big tech, not just tech industry, we're talking big tech, you have about a 20% chance if you continue to try at some point in your life. But with an internal referral, you actually raise your chances by 85 to 95% success rate. So again, this is the benefit of this, and this is why I'm so happy. I'm so happy for all of y'all that have joined. Those of y'all that joined even before we announced this on social media, because a lot of y'all that are in the program right now, it's like you came in before we were even talking about this on social media. You literally just came to the Texas New Black team. The team told you about this, and it was those of y'all that were like, "Yo, you kind of wanted like the option to be like, yo, I definitely want this accelerator piece. I don't just want the education, the education, the training, all of that, but I also want this opportunity to be introduced to these leaders at these other tech companies and have them help me be able to secure the role." So shouts out to y'all. But for the rest of y'all that have just recently joined in the last couple of weeks, as we've been fleshing this out more and more, getting more and more partners and collaborations, you literally have a higher chance, like 85 to 95% chance. Now, again, a lot of that is still on you. This is not the way to put it is that this is getting you to the 99-yard line, where it's like, yo, you're going to have the education. Some of y'all have already finished the program. Shouts out to I think it was Andrew that I saw that finished the tech sales portion. But there's a couple people that are close to finishing. So literally, shouts out to y'all. Those of y'all that are, even those of y'all that are just doing the Tech Career Accelerator, within the next month to 2 months, you're going to be able to actually start with your interviews with the different recruiters and other people that are in the loop. We're going to go over the actual like flow and breakdown. But again, 85 to 95% opportunity. But again, you have to put the work in. So again, you're going to get the coaching for the interviews. You're going to get the coaching when it comes to everything we can give you, including resources and help from the recruiters, including resources and help from those internal people at the company, including the internal referral. But listen, when you are actually in those interviews, you have to take chances. This is literally a life-changing opportunity. And so we're not just talking about getting in tech, because I always talk about it. Getting in tech is a 6-figure tech career. You look up the numbers, the difference between like big tech versus these companies, like regular tech companies in general, is the difference between you have an opportunity of eventually scaling to about 200, maybe $250,000, maybe $300,000. But if we talk about these other companies, like you can scale to well over $500,000. Several people at these companies are making, like Horus said when he was a guest on the podcast, like millionaires, like literally W-2. They're making over $1 million a year. And so y'all, this is when we talk about being rich, like most people in tech that are doing well are technically, there's some form of really upper middle class, like middle class to upper middle class. But when you're talking about big tech, you have an opportunity to truly be rich. And so make sure y'all please take advantage of this opportunity. The thing that I care about a lot and that Horus cares about, because we care about our relationships with these recruiters, with these hiring managers. we want to make sure that y'all are taking this serious, because we want to give them quality people, because if we give them quality people, it makes them look really good when they refer you. So please don't treat this like okay, I invested in this. Cool. No, treat this like the blessing that it is. The blessing that honestly we're blessed to even be able to present this to y'all, because this is something beyond my dreams. Just me telling y'all about tech boot camps was a blessing enough. But this right here, this doesn't exist anywhere else. And again, but also this is not something that we're going to be able to offer forever. So our goal, and we've communicated this with some of our partners that are collaborating with us on this. Our goal, and they said that we can do this number wise, y'all. We can get at least 1,000 people this year into big tech. But again, you have to put the work in. So it's roughly, and literally every single day, it's hundreds of y'all that are scheduling to speak with the team. So listen, it's one of those things where it's about how soon do you want it. So how soon do you want it? I'm gonna be very, very clear. So now I'm talking to people who aren't in the program. For those of y'all that are here watching live and you're interested, I'm gonna be very real. Please don't schedule a call to speak with the team if you're not trying to get in big tech like ASAP. If you're a person where you're like, oh, like if you're cool, and I don't know how much, it's some of y'all are in here and y'all are probably making 25,000 a year. And it's some of y'all are in here that ain't even in tech, or you are in tech and you're already making 150,000, but you're thinking about how you can scale further. If you are not like really like, yo, I'm really trying to jump on this, I'm trying to take advantage of this, please don't schedule with the team. And the reason why I say that, I want to be clear. I say that because there's only a X amount of people that we can help, and the team gets backed up with calls. Like, we're actually bringing on more career advisors. Like, literally, Horus and I was talking about this. We're bringing on about 4 to 6 more people to take more calls and meetings. But listen, if this is not something where you're like, yo, this is an answer to a prayer, to your prayer specifically, please don't schedule, because we want to make sure that our team can immediately get to people as quickly as possible before this window of opportunity closes. So again, for those of y'all that are in the chat on LinkedIn and YouTube, click the link down below. Again, if you're serious, again, if you have experience, if you work in tech and you're trying to scale into big tech, this is for you. If you have education, if you went to college for tech, if you've done a quality tech boot camp, this is for you to. But for those of y'all that don't have that piece, then of course, obviously the career advisors will help determine that with you. And they'll just more than likely recommend you the boot camp. But the boot camp specifically, it does come with the Tech Career Accelerator as well. Now, I'm going to say this, and this isn't to make y'all choose QA or tech sales or one or the other, but just to kind of paint a picture, the tech sales course and training. So first off, all the courses and trainings have AI training and education, where you're learning AI as it relates to that role. But I will be clear, the tech sales training is shorter. So if you're someone where you're like, yo, I'm trying to get into big tech or get these interviews and get this opportunity within like the next month to 3 months, if you have experience, education already, then definitely that's an option for you. But for those of y'all that you don't have that and you want the next fastest route, it will be going the tech sales route. And again, I'm not trying to sway y'all towards tech sales. QA is great as well. But it's I'm just kind of painting that picture for y'all that if you want it faster, which most of us want it faster, we want quality, but we don't want to have to wait 2, 3, 4 years. So tech sales would be the route for you.
There's Negus in the comments. Come learning QA.
Yeah, y'all. So Negus is the QA instructor. He's in the chat right now. He's the QA instructor. Awesome. He actually did our program, that he's literally now the instructor of, to get in tech. He's currently working in tech. So I want to be very clear. Horus is again still in the industry, leader in the industry, as well as Negus. So just the boot camp education alone, y'all are learning from people. With Horus, you're learning from someone where he actually built out the course himself. He literally upgraded it, updated it. So one, you're learning from him. And then with Negus, beautiful testimony of him getting in the industry through the program. And then now a couple years later, he's come around to where now he's the instructor over the program. But aside from just the education of the instructors, this other piece, the Tech Career Accelerator, is the main thing that y'all have access to. And again, when I say y'all, I'm speaking about those of y'all that are currently in the program that have been basically asking for us to do something like this to give you like a more thorough explanation. Horus, I think you're about to say something, so I'm going to let you say what you're about to say, and then I actually want to get into the step-by-step breakdown as to what the flow is going to be for all of them as they're going through the Tech Career Accelerator.
Yeah, just 2 points to hit on, and again, some have heard it before, but first things is that we want to be very intentional and clear. Like, if we were, people think like, oh, there's a guarantee. Like, nobody's ever saying we're going to guarantee a job. I always want to be clear about that. And here's my main point with guaranteeing a job, and I'm just going to be probably too real for the moment. If I could guarantee you $180,000 job, do you think I'd only charge you $3K, $5K? No, I'm going to charge you 20%, and you'd be crazy not to take it, right? I'm going to say, no, it's $36,000, $40,000. You're still going to clear plus 6 figures and then be able to make that repetitively. So keep that in perspective. But the other thing too, when you talk about working hard, and it's the story, and I'll be quick with it. When I got my first interview for Microsoft, right? All this preparation, sitting in cars during house parties. Literally, I sat in a car in a garage taking notes because somebody had the time to talk to me. You all don't have to do that, which I don't see how this is fair, but whatever. But like, I would sit in the car taking notes. I would, do whatever, anytime somebody was available, I'm dropping everything to be able to take the notes and have the conversation and keep, What it did though, when I got into my interview in September on campus, I met with a guy, his name was Bob, and he interviewed me. And at the end of the interview, he said to me, you know more about Microsoft than some of the people I work with. Right. And I was like, all right, I feel like this went well, And so that was like early September, and like November, halfway through November, didn't hear anything. Right. So what I did with that, and what I'm stressing with that, is that I did the work. This is like that Kobe Bryant mentality, right? I know I did the work. I got the validation from the interview comment. And so then in November, 2.5 months later, when I followed up, I'm like, emailed the guy like, hey, Bob, I know that our interview went well because you said I know more than people you work with. I haven't heard from a recruiter. I need some help getting into this, get this interview process going, because I knew the interviews were in December, right? So put the pressure on them to be, and again, that's leveraging the networking part of it, right? It wasn't just an interview. I made enough of a connection with them that I'm able to send him an email. He's like, hey, I'll call you tomorrow morning. He called me 8 a.m. because I just remember being like, man, that's pretty early, for him to do that while he's working, you know what I'm saying? And so called me at 8 a.m. He's like, hey, you haven't heard anything, blah, blah, blah. Got a call from a recruiter in like an hour. You know what I'm saying? And so knowing what I know now, being on the Microsoft side, and having been at Microsoft and how the processes go, I'm like, he must have actually gave some good effort to go find who the recruiter was and who was over the program. So I didn't appreciate that until years later, how much he must have actually done on his side. But my point is that, and that's why I'm the first kind of line of defense in this program, is because I'm not going to let you ruin my reputation with the people that we're connecting you with.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you not have done work and think like, oh, I'm going to just pay my way in. That is not how this works, right? We're going to get you ready. The resources are there, right? But you will be taking this serious, because again, I've been watching the Lose Yourself video all day. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's the moment that people have right now, right? That Eminem, Lose Yourself moment, right? And it's like, it's literally being gift wrapped for people. And to your point, like, I don't feel like we really got to, like, we know that this is going to sell out. I'm not worried about this, but it's like, if you are watching this and you haven't, and you say like, hey, I want to make the call, or I'm thinking about it. Look, whatever it costs, you don't believe in yourself. It's not that you don't believe in me, because I know where I am. Cyrus know where he is. People I work with, we know where we are, right? You need to make sure you believe in yourself enough that you're going to take advantage of the investment and take advantage of the opportunity to get to the other side, to get into these companies, right? I've not seen any other more gift wrapped way of doing this. And I'm just being real. If somebody has one, put it in the comments. Text me, hit me on Instagram. If you've seen an easier, more direct route, let me know. Right. So, all right, I'm resting my case on that, man. But it's just like,
no, that's good. I think so for those of y'all, also want to be clear for those of y'all that are, and I always want to kind of highlight both audiences. For those of y'all that are currently in the Tech Career Accelerator, or you're just in the boot camp, which with the Accelerator piece, as much as we have an amazing network of individuals that are at these companies. That being said, this is not their job. It's not their job to help you get it, to help you in the interview process, to help you when it comes to coaching and prepping you. It's not their job to do that. Their companies, and I'll just use just a recruiter as an example, because there's different people, but just a recruiter's job is not to help you be able to be qualified for the opportunity at their company. It is their job. Their company pays them for them to find and recruit the top talent or the best person for the role. So 2 things within that. 1, that's why it's very important that we make sure that you actually are qualified and your quality, because again, 1, we want the success for you, but 2, we want to make sure we're paying respect to the company and the recruiters and whoever and the other people that are involved. The other piece to it is that, again, as I said, this is not like their companies are not paying them to do this. Literally through the program, like we are paying them for their time, again, off the clock, for their time, for their assistance, for their knowledge, to be able to help people that are qualified be fully prepared and prepped up when it comes to these interviews and the referrals that they're receiving. So I want to be very clear that, like, just straight up, that's part of the reason why we have this opportunity. We're able to do this. The other part of the reason is because of y'all support, people that have supported Tech is the New Black. And again, I know there's some of you that are in the program right now, a friend or family member recommended you, so you don't really know who I am or know too much about Horus, and you're going to get familiar with us throughout the program. Nevertheless, as much as we've been able to leverage and tap in with our network, a lot of that has been because of the support of those of y'all that have allowed our platforms to become larger. We have been able, and I'm speaking more so for myself. Negus is not Negus, but Horus has been in his bag for a minute. With me, it's largely because of y'all support with Tech is New Black that's risen our platform at such a level that we have such an amazing network. That being said, first off, thank y'all for the support when it comes to that. But we definitely want to make sure we're showing respect and honor to the recruiters, to the hiring managers, to the other individuals that are assisting when it comes, because this could not happen without them. Like, I could give all the coaching, all the training. Horus can do that as well. And I want to be very clear, y'all. We've helped thousands of people get into the industry, even without this. But this piece is an opportunity. One thing I've never done, like some of y'all probably know this from my content, I've actually shied away from talking about getting in big tech because I knew, 1, how great the opportunity is, but 2, how hard it is to get in big tech. So if anybody's ever seen my content, I've always been like, yo, it's almost like big tech is almost like, a baddie who's way out of your league. It's like, let me know in the chat for those of y'all guys that, maybe you're in tech already, you have some money. Even when you have some money, there are still some women that it's like, they only dating Drake and other type of dudes where it's like, dang, okay, I need more than that. And it's a joke, but also just kind of
you gotta believe. You gotta believe, but keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, Horus like, nah, nobody out of my league. Horus gonna hit him with the Spanish. He gonna hit him with the Spanish. But no, those are facts. That being said, that's why, because y'all know I'm pretty conservative when it comes to, like, okay, what it is that we should do or what it is that, like, we're capable of. I try to be somewhat conservative and not like hype people up too much. That being said, now I am so excited to talk about big tech. because of this opportunity we have, again, through the network. So make sure, again, those of y'all that are currently in it right now, please make sure that you're taking it serious. I know y'all are excited, but I want you to keep that excitement going, keep that fuel going. For those of y'all that are going to be, talking to the career advisors, all of that, make sure that you're not talking to them kind of haphazardly, that you're kind of like, I'm kind of thinking about it. If you're just kind of thinking about it, this isn't for you until you're at a point where you realize, I need something better. Anyway, let me get to the actual break step by steps. Horus talked about it on a high level. I'm gonna kind of break it down really quickly. If there's anything that I'm missing, Horus, please chime in when it comes to this. So step by step. So again, those of y'all, and I'm speaking specifically for those that just joined. Some of y'all are in here and you're like, I'm already past those steps, or I'm already at a certain point. Specifically, just kind of giving a step-by-step breakdown for all of y'all. So the very first thing, all right, here we go, right here. All right, cool. So the very first thing, so out the gate, and this is the way that it should be for you. Again, for those of y'all that are further ahead, you probably didn't have this, like you probably didn't see this, but you're going to get opportunity for it later. So first and foremost, early on, you will kind of be able to pre-choose the 2 big tech companies and roles that you're interested in. Now, I say pre-choose because overall, when you end up speaking with Horus, as you get a little bit further in and you speak with Horus for your kind of vetting interview with him, then you'll kind of like resubmit and he'll kind of talk you through with that. But either way, it kind of helps us as a team paint a picture as we're getting to know you. Okay, these are the 2 big tech companies you're interested in. Immediately after that, it's a 15-minute private prep meeting with me, a one-on-one. And so the goal of that is so individually I can understand what you're trying to do, so we can make sure I can highlight for you different modules. Because I'm gonna be real, all of y'all don't need every single module. You don't need everything that we have when it comes to the self-paced training. So I'll highlight for you which things in the modules, because the goal is to get you to the goal as quickly as possible. It's not to be like, you need to do X, Y, Z. Like you need to do everything. Some of you don't need to do everything. Some of you will need to do everything. That's the purpose of the kind of 15, 20-minute powwow we'll have for me to get to know you and tell you what to pay attention to. So that way you can kind of get to the goal. After that, you'll immediately jump into the Tech Career Accelerator training. It's self-paced, but relatively within about 3 weeks, you'll actually be able to have your vetting interview with Horus. Where then this is the interview again. This is him vetting you before he actually sends you to the recruiters, to the other people. And again, I want to be clear, this isn't like a pass or fail thing. It's just more so vetting. And then he'll, if for whatever reason your ducks aren't in a row, for whatever reason, he'll highlight for you what you need to get retrained on when it comes to the Tech Career Accelerator. It might be one module, like maybe your interviewing is really bad, or maybe your LinkedIn looks trash, and it's like you clearly didn't pay attention to the LinkedIn optimization training. So it might be something like that, or something else that he'll highlight for you. Worst case scenario, you'll just have to have like a follow-up with him. But again, I'm trusting that y'all are going to take it serious. So just take it serious, so that way you don't have to do a follow-up with him. And it could be a one and done. You don't want the follow-up. Yeah. So, and we don't want the follow-up. Like we want you to get through and get to the goal. So after that is when
one thing to add on that too. One thing to add for what I'll do too is that, part of the guidance you'll get is that, again, everybody's like, oh, I want to go to Microsoft, or oh, I want to go to Google. And it's like, yeah, but we're also going to work on your strategy, right? So when you come meet me, right, you should have at least 3 to 4 jobs that you want to go after, right, that are available currently, so that we can help you pick which people and which companies to talk to, which recruiter to talk to, because a recruiter is going to give you all the recruiter game. I talked to one of them last night, and we were talking about a certain company, and we are right there, eye to eye, same page, right? And so he's going to give you all recruiter game for the ATS, with the resume, how to get through, how to get to hirement. All the recruiter game is coming from him. And then that to me is going to be super invaluable, before you go to meet with the industry people. But like I said, with me, like Cyrus is saying, we're going to make sure that you're prepared, make sure that you're ready, but also kind of give you guidance on how you should probably navigate the rest. You can do what you want, right? But I'm there to give you the guidance. So,
yeah. Exactly. And I want to be clear, the reason why we have it set up to where you're getting the two options of companies. And again, I know that the most popular companies everybody knows about are the Googles and the Microsofts. But I want to be very clear, all of the companies, pay wise, same level, and internally within the industry carry the same level of gravitas and weight. Like if you work at an IBM, you work at a Salesforce, the number one CRM in the world, like those are, all of these are multi-billion dollar companies, all clearing over 50 to $100 billion when it comes to when it comes to the valuation of a company, and some of them even in the trillions when we talk about valuation. So we're talking the top of the top elite, all of them. So none of these are, if it's a company you haven't heard of, please don't have this mentality of, oh, I haven't heard of that. So no, like as you're going through the program,
not to cut you off, but I'm gonna say this. I guarantee you, and I'll take this bet against anybody, you'll find more people, more account execs or client directors or sales type roles, more of them make seven figures than they do at Microsoft. More of them at Salesforce make millions of seven figures than they do at Microsoft or at Google. Google used to be good, but I've heard from people, and it's not bad by any means. I mean, it's 400, 500,000, but when I hear seven figures, like we ain't got nothing else to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Like, let me in, right? And I guarantee most people haven't heard of ServiceNow, right? So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. So again, y'all, so all of these are great opportunities. So don't discount any of them. All right. So after, like he mentioned, but the other reason why it's two options, why we set it up to where you have two options. One is to increase the rate that you get into big tech faster. Because let's say for whatever reason you do flop and fumble in the interview process with one of the companies just horrendously. Again, where you're gonna have a lot of coaching and training and prep from us, as well as the internal resources in the company. But let's say for whatever reason you just get overly nervous because it's your first time in a big tech interview, and you're like, "Oh my God, I gotta do it." Just like he said with the Eminem moment. To lose yourself. It's like palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. Literally. The second that it's meant to, that way you have the other alternative option where it's like, okay, cool. I can still get on see what I did wrong and try it with this company. If that still doesn't work out, then literally we're still here to help you in the future with options with other companies as well in the future. Now, the other reason why it's two companies, and I'm going to just be real with y'all. I talk about this often, and we have this in the salary negotiation training module that y'all, some of y'all are already going through it. But once you get to the salary negotiation, or excuse me, the total comp negotiation module that we have, I talk about being able to get multiple offers to use them as leverage to renegotiate with one. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, and for some of you this won't be hypothetical. Let's say, okay, you go through, you're on your P's and Q's, and you get an offer from Salesforce and you get an offer from IBM, 2 out of the 10 companies that we have in the list. Literally, and again, the training will go over this further, as well as I'll be able to help you further with this as well. But you can leverage that. Let's say that one company is offering you 140K, 160K base and an OTE of XYZ, and the other one's offering something a little bit less, but they're offering these other, like maybe the equity is better, or maybe something in terms of like the perks or something is a little different. Then you can use that to negotiate something with the other company. You can and again, we're going to be right now, I'm not trying to coach you as to how it's going to happen. I'm just giving you a picture, because the coaching is literally that module with the negotiations, a 3-hour module training. It's very in depth. That being said, in this example, you would want to communicate and let them know during the process, like, yeah, I did just get an offer. Like, you would want to tell IBM, I did just get an offer from Salesforce, but I'm really interested in working with you though, IBM. Look, I got this thing in the offer. I would love it if, is there a possibility that y'all can also offer this to me as well? And so that's the other reason why it's the two options for you. So that way you're able to really have more opportunity Camille says, thank you. Thank both of you. Or thank you. Both of you are so helpful. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the love, Camille. Also, thank y'all for the love. Other people in the I want to acknowledge a couple comments, and then we'll keep it pushing and get ready to wrap up. So shouts out to Ari, I think it's Ari Tech, or I'm assuming that's Ari Tech. I'm not sure, but it says what Cyrus and Horus is saying is real. It takes a warm intro to make it happen. Very, very true. He said, a couple months back, had to reach out, bam, homie, to get a hiring manager. I'm not like fully understand the full breakdown, but I understand the gist of it.
Bam is blacks at Microsoft. I know the inside terms you got there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he either works at Microsoft or knows somebody at Microsoft, because that's what that is. Like Microsoft was hiring for Modern Work Sales a couple months back. Had to reach out to the blacks at Microsoft homie to get to the hiring manager. Basically, what we're saying is that if you have the ability to get the inside track, that's the, especially at like Microsoft's and Google's, like that's what it takes. It takes that inside connection, and that's what we're offering here. So,
Jocelyn, you do not need. I'm gonna be real. You don't need the tech sales training. You literally just need the Tech Career Accelerator. You said, hello, this is Jocelyn from Orlando. I have over 20 years of sales experience across various industries, including telecommunications and insurance. I recently completed the tech sales program with Course Careers, and I'm looking to bring my expertise to a reputable tech company in cloud space. Oh my goodness. You just need the tech career. Not you really, this is Horus, but yeah. I feel confident enough to say you just need the tech career accelerator. Like you are
when she put that comment in, bro, she actually made that comment when you were saying something, and I was like, it almost looked like it was fake, because that is the exact person that this program helps out.
Yeah.
Like, it was almost like it wasn't real. Yeah.
Like rock star. And I want to be clear. I don't want anyone to see that and be like, oh, so I have to be at that level. It's like, again, there's levels to it. We're just highlighting how it's like, yo, this is like this would be amazing, like super crazy. Like Jocelyn, like if you do it, like, whatever, if you end up, coming through, speak with the team, all of that. Hey, my goal would be for us to like hurry up and get you a big tech, because your like testimony, all of that would be huge. I'd love to interview you in the future, and for us to talk about it, and also talk about like how it helps you, because again, with all of your experience, with your experience, despite that, and despite that, you can't just get internal referrals and interviews with these larger companies, even with all of your experience. So I would love in the future, and this is me spiritually like prophesying, or for those of y'all that aren't Christians, I'll say manifesting for those of y'all. Either way, this is me putting it out there that you do the program, get you in tech quickly. I would love to interview you, for you to talk to people about like how it benefited you in ways that all of your experience and knowledge weren't able to benefit you when it comes to the opportunity. But anyway, that's a sidebar. So let's see. All right, y'all. And so again, I mean, that's basically for the most part it for those of y'all that are in the program already. We went through the breakdown. We went through the value of this, how literally this gives you an 85 to 95% chance. Again, there's no such thing as a guarantee, but there's nothing that gets you closer to a guarantee than this. Like whether you need the education or you already have the education, but then you add on top of that all of this. My heart, my goal, my passion has been to get as many people in the industry as possible. I've said this before. 2026 is going to be my last year helping people get in tech. I've said this before very blatantly. Like I'm moving on from this. I've already helped thousands of people get in the industry. I could put my jersey up right now. Horus could put his jersey up right now in the rafters and be like, yo, we've done our part to help people and help the community. Nevertheless, because of this opportunity we have, y'all see the writing on the wall. AI, robotics is coming in to revolutionize everything, which for those that are not in the industry or trying to get into the industry or something adjacent, it is going to more than likely replace you. But for those that do get in the industry with some type of AI, automation, education, training, then this will be a bigger opportunity for you. So it's a blessing for those of y'all that take advantage. It's definitely something that's a huge threat and risk for those that are not taking AI seriously and getting in a role or an industry that is benefiting from it. That being said, literally 2026 is my last year run, but this year, literally, we want to make sure for those of y'all that are serious, those of y'all that are in here, please take it serious. Those of y'all that are already in, I can't harp on this enough. And I already cared about y'all getting in tech when it was just the boot camp and the training, the education. But this type of opportunity to not just get in tech, but to get in big tech is like, it's crazy. It's honestly crazy. So I'm blessed. I'm honored that we're even able to do this. So just please, likewise, make sure that you are matching that energy and the passion and putting in the work, as we're going to be working alongside you as well. For those of y'all that are going to be joining, I already see alerts. There's so many alerts from those of y'all that are already scheduling with the team. As you speak with the team, again, they'll help guide you towards what it is you need. Just make sure you're very clear in your goals. So the team will handle that. And I think that is basically everything. Oh no. So there's one other piece. Excuse me, I almost forgot. So, because I know some people in the chat like, oh, what's the what is it? So there is a bundle going on right now for those that do need the boot camp, and it's literally going on. This bundle is going on for the next 12 people, where specifically for the self-paced training of the boot camp, for those that need the boot camp, specifically for the self-paced training of the boot camp, it has been completely discounted down by 18%, almost 20%. Basically, it's been discounted down. So literally the team will explain further to you, but again, just for the next 12 people, make sure you tap in. But again, only tap in if you're serious, if you're ready, all of that, and so that way we can help you. So we're going to get to a few questions. Horus, if you don't have any time, then I'll handle the questions. But if you're able to spare a few minutes.
Yeah, I got time. I'm good.
Okay, cool. So for those of y'all on Instagram, make sure you're putting your questions in the actual question section. So you're going to click the drop down above my head. Actually, click the drop down above my head. Put your questions in there. We're not going to be able to get to all y'all's questions. I'm just going to be real right now. So put your question ASAP so we can get to it. Just like what we're doing right now with this Tech Career Accelerator. We ain't gonna be able to help everybody. So if this is for you, go ahead and dive in. If you got a question, go ahead and drop your question. I'm gonna get to the pre-submitted questions, and hopefully we're able to get some more of y'all's questions. So first question I have from pre-submitted questions. All right, how can I get in big tech without a degree, and how are you getting people interviewed? Well, you don't need a degree, but you do need the education. So we want to be clear. So that's usually a boot camp. But we already kind of talked through that. So I'm going to go to the next question. Let's see. So someone said, all right, I signed up. How much so the Tech Career Accelerator specifically, where you choose the two companies and, that entire piece, literally for the entire thing, is $29.95. There are payment plan options, but I want to be clear. It's kind of one of those things where it's up to you, where it's up to like when you want to get started. So hypothetically speaking, because it's nurses that are here in the chat, it's people that are realtors that are making really good money, but obviously you've hit a ceiling. But y'all have enough where you're like, yeah, cool, I can go ahead and I can drop that today. Okay, cool. That in that case, you will be able to get within like your interviews and stuff with Horus within about 3 to 4 weeks, depending on like how many signups. Obviously, he's limited to his time. We're going to be bringing more people on, and Horus is going to train them to help more of y'all out. Nevertheless, for those that are able to do that literally within 3 to 4 weeks, when it comes to the payment plans, there's options on options of payment plans. I want to be very clear. We're not doing anything with a financing company and credit, because we ain't trying to mess nobody credit up. We just want to help people get in the industry. But again, the further out the pay, and the career advisor will talk to you about this further, the further out, if you qualify, the further out of the payment plan you do, it just basically means the longer it's going to take you. Because again, we are financially compensating the recruiters, hiring managers, and others. So we have to make sure, like, in order for them to help you, they got to get their money. They have to get paid, because again, These people are already making $200,000, $300,000. They not about to stop their life and the time they have with their family and they work to help a bunch of strangers just cause. So we do have to.
Let me stress that these people are expensive, and so is their time. And then you make a point about realtors. I want to call out the realtors because I know it's so many realtors out there that watch that I talk to and connect with. Literally, I spoke with 2 today. One who works at Workday, one who works at SAP. They are part of our, final 2 option groups. And, they're excited and eager because realtor, and I will say one of them, she told me today, she said, hey, look, I can still do real estate with this job because, to your point, it's a remote job, right? She makes her schedule depending on how busy things are. She can schedule things around it. So, realtors, I think, again, they're already have some sort of career, right? Like, and again, to your point, man, look, we're not begging nobody for this. This will sell out. I'm not worried about this, right? Because this is for people, though, to the point that you made. This is people who are ready to move now, right? They're ready to make the change. And that's what I'm saying. I make the joke about the lose yourself, but as I was listening to the words, I'm like, look, you get that chance and this is it, right? It's tax return time, right? Like, you get $3,000 back and you had struggles and you can't get where you want to be. Like, why not this? You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, yeah, shout out to the realtors. That's right.
One thing that I skipped out on saying, and I know we're at the portion now where we're you technically not addressing the people that are currently in the program, but I meant to say this. The purpose of the Tech Career Accelerator training, aside from the resources, aside from the referrals, is for us to help you also be able to get opportunities at other companies. So I want you to understand this isn't just about the 2 companies you get to choose from. Also, we want to make sure you're getting in interviews. We're going to be helping you, going to help you when it comes to your application process, your LinkedIn optimization. So that way you're landing other interviews with other companies for 2 reasons. One, because if you get a really good offer from another company that maybe isn't as prominent, that's still a really good offer. The second reason why is it also is giving you more, you're putting in more reps when it comes to your interviews that preps you up even more when you get those bigger interviews. So you're not just going from not doing any interviews, not doing, you're getting the coaching to, it's like the difference between if you're a boxer or if you're an athlete, you can train all day in the gym, but until you actually get into a real match, that's where, like Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Punch in the face. Yep.
When you're sparring, it could be an aggressive sparring match, but usually sparring is not as aggressive as the real fight. So again, likewise, we want to make sure that part of the reason for the Tech Career Accelerator is also us helping you get interviews. And now those won't be internal referrals. I want to be very clear about that. That will be more of kind of the raw way, but again, with coaching that you're going to get other interviews. So that way you're getting some actual real matches in before the big championship fights, which are with the big tech companies. So I just want to kind of address that part.
Don't worry. The first session will be a real fight too, just so you know. It's not going to be easy. And also, look, I don't want to undersell the recruiter. I think we're saying you get to choose these 2 companies, but the recruiter stage, I think, it's like the magician telling you how to do the tricks. You know what I mean? You're getting game from recruiters that I think will be invaluable in your searches, and hopefully they end through this process. But you'll have 2 people from 2 different companies. You'll have these recruiters, right, who are giving you the behind the scenes game. And then, like I said, I don't think I'm chopped liver, right? So it's really you're getting truly 4 incredible opportunities to meet people, to build your network. And don't just look at these as one and done, right? Questions you should be asking me, everybody, is, hey, can I get a referral? That's the whole thing of sales. Close the sale, right? Maximize your time. Ask the recruiter for a referral. Why not? Right? And then, you ask for the referral. Hey, who can you introduce me to? If you come prepared with jobs and you say, hey, who's the hiring manager for this role? Can you introduce me? Can you put in a good word? And you make the same impression I made on Bob, so I can call Bob 2 months later and be like, Bob, I know we had a good interaction. I know we had a good interview. and then Bob goes and makes it happen for me. That's what this is about. Like, we're gift wrapping, but we can't handhold. At some point, you have to earn your own destiny, right? You will have a chance to have an hour conversation with me, and you can either sit here and shoot the shit with me, or you can sit here and we make a difference and we get you in the right direction. Then I'm going to hand you to one of the recruiters who will then give you the game from behind the scene. I talked to one of them last night. We were hitting eye to eye on all these points. He's ready to go. And then, like I said, I talked to the 2 realtors today who are in the industry. They're ready to go. They're ready to connect with people who do real estate. I got people who are in sales. I got people who are in engineering sales engineers, I should say. So we have everybody, right? But if you don't come into this, to Cyrus's point, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the face. And the thing is, be ready to take the punch. Be ready to punch back and figure out what you want to do. You're literally being hand delivered what people go pay thousands of dollars to go to career fairs, stand in line, hope to meet a recruiter, hope to meet somebody from industry. We're handing it to you.
Yeah,
literally. I get a little passionate, as you can say.
Yeah, let me know in the chat, and even for those that are watching this later, if you've seen the posts that have gone viral of Harvard students, graduates from these prestigious schools where they can't even get interviews. And I mean, literally videos of it's thousands of the graduates that have these computer science degrees. And I've seen several of them going
Harvard
viral.
MBA too. Harvard MBA too.
Not even getting these interviews for these companies. And so that's why we're so excited about this, is because it's like, and it's so crazy because I thought in my head this was possible for us to do this. But that's why I'm so grateful that like Horus actually was like, yo, we could do this. And then when we actually tapped in with our network and, you know, mainly his network, being able to see like, oh snap, like this really is something we can do. So I love it so much. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let's get to the questions. We got to wrap up. I got stuff to do. Horus got stuff to do. Horus about to start speaking Spanish in a minute. So anyway, I'm in Colombia, y'all. Y'all know I'm in Cartagena, Colombia. So I'm about to go outside and enjoy myself as well out here in these streets. So let's see. Oh yeah, my bad. I'm getting to the questions. So the other pre-submitted questions we have. How are you doing? I'm doing well, thank you. Interesting. Somebody asked me that, but I guess I should appreciate somebody's asking me how am I doing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Someone asked, how do I become one of the 12? So one of the 12 that's able to get it at the discount rate. So honestly, I can't control that. I would say that the best option you have is to schedule to speak with the team. The team schedule is backed up. So again, y'all, if I don't want y'all scheduling just to get a slot in with the team if you're not serious. So one, make sure you're serious, because again, y'all, our team is working tirelessly to try to like they're backed up on calls. So I want to make sure one, they're not backed up with people that aren't like actually serious or ready. So again, we're not trying to, because again, we only can help a limited amount of people. So we're not trying to, this isn't like we're trying to get everybody. It's like we can't get everybody. We honestly can't.
There's a literal limitation of time, right? There's only so many slots. Like we've discussed this at length because obviously we want to help as many people. Like I said, there's 13,917 tech sales jobs immediately available. And I was like, we can barely do 20% of that. Maybe 20%. And that's just right now, not to mention all the jobs that will open up over the course of a year. So it's like, you know, if you see this and you don't get in, you know, it's like home shopping network, right? Like the sale is going to be over. So
so guys, gentlemen, so I would say just schedule as quickly as possible with the team. Schedule with the team, schedule as soon as possible. Again, I can't, because it could all be gone tomorrow, or it could be the 12 slots can still be available 2 or 3 days from now. So just kind of schedule as quickly as possible. Anyway, so to the other questions, let's see if all right, so we'll do like 2 or 3 more questions. Let me get some stuff in here that's good for Horus to answer. All right, so you said 2,500, it's 2,900 basically. So $29.95. Is it a one-time fee? Yes, it is a one time. So it's not a recurring. So I want to be very clear about that. That's one time. So literally one time you get all of the assist, and also it is a lifetime cohort in a sense that now you won't have access to the training for a lifetime. I want to be very clear about that because we don't know what updates and changes we'll have. But in terms of the actual community, then it is like lifetime support. Because I want to be real, my goal is to help y'all get in faster. So then hopefully you can be an internal referral at your companies in the future. But anyway, yeah, it's just a one time. Let's see. Finally, I'll be starting the course tomorrow. Oh, congratulations. Well, yeah, when you start, once you start, we'll have our 15, 20 minute powwow first. So I'll see you as soon as you actually start.
And also, let me say while you read those, like we're going to provide, and I got it here actually. We're going to provide like agenda, outlines, suggestions. That what we were going over last night. We're going to have kind of like some guidance for you through it. So you're not just going to be thrown in. Obviously, the training modules, all that stuff is going to be available, but I'm also preparing documentation before you meet with me. So kind of like Cyrus will deliver it to you in that session. And then before you meet with me, you'll have like an agenda of what to have prepared, meaning like searching for the jobs and knowing the companies and all that stuff. So just so you know, there is guidance, and I don't think we touched on that. So I just want to make sure I make that point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're totally good. That's good to touch on. So about other boot camps and stuff, yeah, tap in. If you've already done a quality boot camp, again, the career advisors will be able to talk through this with you. But if you've already done a quality boot camp, then you would just need the Tech Career Accelerator. But if you haven't, or if you are lacking certain skills, then definitely we have the resources when it comes to the AI QA automation bootcamp and training, as well as the AI tech sales training as well. So definitely you could tap in with that. And I don't see any other questions. I feel like there are other questions, but I just might not be seeing them. I don't want anybody to cuss me out later, but I don't think I'm seeing any other questions. So we are going to, I see questions, but some of them are kind of generic, and it's like we kind of talked about this stuff already. So I'm not even going to address the couple that are a bit generic. Okay, you can go from SaaS experience to Google, or you need to work your way up first. Okay, so
I kind of answered
all right. So
yeah,
what, the one from Kurt?
Yeah, from Kurt. Yep. Because
Okay.
the point, Kurt, and I'll just say it to everybody, is that we're not saying like, oh, no SaaS sales and you're going to go be a client director. Nobody's making those promises. If you go to Big Tech Money, go to my IG. I did probably 5-6 videos of entry-level roles, so you can have an idea what the roles are. You'll see the LinkedIn search, but obviously you'll be slotted based on your experience, right? We have people who are 20 years of sales experience, for example, right? She's not going to have to go into the entry level. She can go in more mid-level, potentially high level, based on, and Jocelyn, based on how much technology understanding she has and she can demonstrate, right? She could easily be an AE, mid-tier, mid-upper tier. So obviously we're going to match your capability, your experience with your opportunity, but no matter what, you're still getting your foot in the door, right? And if you think about the network that we're obviously referring, if you got sales director level like me, or some of the, other sales directors I know at different companies, or whatever their titles are, because every company has somebody different. But if you have a recommendation from a high level person for an entry role, think of the impact that has, right? For me to try and get somebody who I would hire, or somebody just equal to me, that's kind of difficult. But if I'm saying, hey, I know you're looking for some entry level people, here's some good recommendations I have, or here's some referrals I have for solid entry level. Because entry level, sorry, you know what I'm talking about with this. When you're looking as a manager to hire entry level people, that is a very mixed bag. So if I can get referrals of people who are coming into my entry level team, but I know that they're solid, I feel way more comfortable taking those referrals than just being like, all right, I don't know where this person's coming from or what their experience is, right? like, just think of that from the perspective. And I think it'll help you understand why referrals in this kind of transition that we're describing, right, are so impactful. So something else to take away.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, y'all. So that's basically it. So we're gonna go ahead and jump because I got stuff to do. Horus has stuff to do. So again, y'all, for those of y'all that are on Instagram, comment Big Tech. Again, only if you're serious. Tap in with the team. If you just are curious, then just go to the website and just look at the website, get some questions answered on the website. But if you're serious, then schedule with the team. For those of y'all that are on LinkedIn, YouTube, go to the drop down below. Use the link to be able to schedule to speak with the team. Or you can just go to techisthenewblack.com or scaleintech.com and it'll route you there. Other than that, y'all, look, I'm excited. Again, congratulations to all of y'all that recently just joined this week. Shouts out to those of y'all that have been rocking with us for the past several weeks. And aside from that, y'all have a blessed, beautiful evening. Appreciate you so much, Horus.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. Take care, everybody. All right, later.